Back to Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Poorly dubbed. I mean, well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant. And a woman, no less.
Oh, great. I do not condonage the insulting of women.
The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. Ask for only 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ah! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
Your Excellency!
I am most grateful.
Who exactly are you?
Sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something? Written in English.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The Englishwoman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, this research, whatever it is, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? Never heard that word before.
Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail. I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you.
Goodbye then. Good luck.
You've had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. Yeah, Yunosuke has the same demeanor as Wright, though it seems like this really is a good coming of age, I suppose, because he's a high schooler. I ask the prosecution and the defense now, one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Yunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance.
Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. Oh wait, let me look at this first. Sand made of the bark of trees in the jungles of South America. Hunters have used the sensation to incapacitate their prey. Effects: instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even minute doses. Oh. The above-mentioned effects would occur when the poison enters the body through wounds such as that is inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Oh, this is the bark one? Yeah, it's the bark one, yeah. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, the solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. There's so many terrible things. Yeah, there's a poison in South America that just instantly paralyzes everything in your body. It makes all your muscles stop. It's not pleasant. But they hunt with it because, like... You hunt with it because it instantly makes whatever you're chasing, it makes whatever you're chasing immediately stop moving. That way you can, catch your kill and eat it. And the reason it would normally not harm a person is because your digestive enzymes destroy the poison, so it has to be like a wound. So if you shot yourself with the blow dart by accident, of course you'd be paralyzed and probably die a horrible death, and there'd be nothing you can do about it. But because you're eating it, it's fine. Now, if you had like a little cut on your tongue, or you had a little cut on your lip with it, then it could probably get in your bloodstream, which is not good. Or if you prick yourself, or if you inhaled the blow dart by accident like an idiot, you're dead. So yeah, it's not a pleasant poison. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not very long until tea time. I'll politely have to decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems that I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand that you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel?
A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense. Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
It doesn't exist? Correct.
Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare.
Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order, order, order. Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist?
According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced by curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, He would have been squirming and writhing in pain. The other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain.
According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used.
Explain yourself, Counsel.
The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all.
Terrible.
Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects would go largely unnoticed.
I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death.
Full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. After a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail.
Respiration?
In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was sleeping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this curare poison.
And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it?
A hitherto unknown poison,
For which there's no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense.
if I may.
All these facts! You think you're so clever, but you must be taught some manner.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What?
You steal another's honest hard work, then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny? Oh, sumimasen. Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not?
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. You little police games, and these foolish little courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Come, Pai.
Wait, what are you doing?
No sparkle left at all? How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness.
I think we need to get a glass of this for Prosecutor Ouchie, because he's very thirsty.
Whatever's the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. Bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given.
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison inside of that bottle. So how? How does she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there?
There can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead.
Come on, Ryunosuke. All the clues now. Full of water. The culprit did put curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position.
You're serious?
Objection!
Fool, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw...
Miss Brett drinking the water from it?
That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
Need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer's in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
Yes!
It seems the defense, or should I say, the wretched accused, is the only real source of complication in this case. You'll have to think harder than that, defendant. Wait, what? But that was the reason. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot. I have to... Okay, I see. Yes. I was thinking too far ahead. Okay, yeah, because it said... Because he had a mouth wound. That's how he got poisoned. Oh no, they're asking me why she's fine, right? Okay, it's probably this. I'm thinking too far ahead.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation.
No? After all.
We don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel's trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Suzato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Hold on. Are those sections named? This is because it's edible. So, synopsis. Yep. Characteristics. Okay. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use those laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel, no, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? See, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little...
Rapscallion! Well, Rinosuke, turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Lawyer.
Objection!
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly...
So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish?
Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Oh, yes, well, of course.
Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
That's right.
Good gracious.
That It's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand. No?
Order. Order in the court. Order. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, that this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that.
I love her Untitled Goose game hat. It's really good merch. But I've got her now.
What's this welling up inside me? Never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense. Almost rage-like. More than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
That was really soft.
But he's young. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson's dead.
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison's completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone been killed by curare?
Take that!
Miss Brett has readily pointed out she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person who's drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you'd just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
Ah!
So that's it. They used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile.
What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No!
I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear. How careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
No! What is it? What just happened?
It's the Englishwoman. She smashed that bottle. Mid-Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder.
Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible. At once.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this.
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in that bottle. Or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady.
That's right, and looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me, so of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using curare, and then in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime. You waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. And then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. See? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. Hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by their accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
It's unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her. Is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yeah. We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Oh, yes, that's true, but I hadn't managed to notice that woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene, in my head, there'd be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on, then. Let's wipe that smug smile off the Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright. I can't wait. It's been nagging me for a while. Something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all of this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been...
Take that!
Inspector Husanaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? It's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Absolutely. I wondered, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
Wait a minute. Where are you going with...
Where are you going with this, little boy?
It's just a memory that's been troubling me.
What memory?
I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor.
No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front. There's no way that the blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Yes.
For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies that the plate was between the victim and the shooter.
Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were.
Giselle Brett. Oh, she's speaking English there. So...
Nanda kore?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something like the accused has just apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you'd been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak the sergeant had been eating. I did it all in the name of justice. And we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's... impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate.
What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
So, I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
Cancelled. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's pretend this attempt at a courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's all over.
Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Is the plate I thought I saw just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke.
It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel.
Huh?
Stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection?
That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. And this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all?
Steak. Steak. Ooh, it's a nice Minecraft spruce wood, shaved wood texture.
Can't find anything out of place. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei period. Hoei era, I believe.
No. I don't mean what is it.
I mean, what's it doing there? Wait,
Did you say it was a Hoei Koban?
yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. Imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been talk of Hoei Koban. Heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion and bouillon.
I don't think you ever will again.
This is extraordinary, though. This means...
Oh, so it's the wrong plate.
I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era, too. That would make it really quite valuable.
It's well marinated in the juices as well. Look.
What are you thinking? Are you thinking of eating it?
Oh no, but the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's gonna be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize.
I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beef steak is this new clue to be found? Huh? What the? Wait, we've already seen this. Well, that's nice that they let you do it right then and there. Yeah, but it's a really good textured steak, you know? Yeah, just in case someone mashed through, that does make sense. I keep getting ahead of myself. But yeah. Maybe the swan is hiding the gun. Yeah, I've played this game before, and like not this game before, but I've played Ace Attorney games, so I guess you can kind of get used to them in a way, if that makes sense. Oh, by the way, how's the volume been on this? Am I peaking? Where precisely? Oh, present.
Got it.
There we go. I forgot to press X, that's why. Good gracious, that's... Koban?
What on earth? Oh, wait, error one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, isn't it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency.
Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you realize that it is you who's irrelevant. And though I'm the one on trial here?
Point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what he's doing under that steak. The owner?
Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is...
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and the owner of the Rasute, Yorio Korekuta-san. Yuri? As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, but what were you doing?
Hunting for the treasure. Indeed! The Hoei era Koban! My prized coin!
Then this Hoei era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
No. Please, why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him.
Officer, bring both the witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Oh, I'm quiet regardless of voice. I'll figure out the mixing.
Can't believe we've come right back round to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case.
What's all this about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for my little baby idol? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs forced to bear this false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence.
Be that as it may, Kodakuda-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this...
What? Yes, that's the one! The very one! The exact one, that is!
Look, the knife is in his foot. This poor guy. And yeah, this witness stand's like actually really long now. They said, okay, boys, officers, I'm gonna need you to stretch that stand out. Look at this baby. This is it's pretty good. It's a pretty good capture. I want that. I'm able to hide the... Ooh, yes, I can, turn subtitles off. No, I can turn off. Oh, yes, I can't. Oh, you can kind of see through it. Okay, but there's no, like... Alright. I thought maybe... Wait time. Just like the time until the next line of dialogue is displayed. Maybe that'll make things a little faster. Okay.
The resplendent, splendiferous hoy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be.
As I thought.
Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere.
We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the season's meat juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Clearly it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing?
Excuse me. Did I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation.
La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korakuda-san Koban was all too clear.
What?
What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korekuda-san's koban and hid it under the stake?
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iesanosa.
What? How dare you? You monster!
Monster?
I stole that koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido is the master.
Okay.
But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido was the mastermind behind all this.
You would push blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. What's happening here? Clippity clop, clippity clop. Oh, now he's got a Wario mustache. He went from Waluigi to Wario.
Nippon Army Sergeant Iesanosa preparing to stand down the Supreme Court, sir.
Oh, it just stays that way.
Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe?
I understand that the temporary increase in taxation is owing to the recently conflicted conflicts remains in place. And I've heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living. Yes.
All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son.
So that's why you were stealing things at the restaurant.
The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days, I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time.
It sounds like he doesn't bother with the knife and fork even, which is worryingly unbelievable. And your target that day was the old man and his koban.
Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all.
A veritable phantom thief you are.
He said it.
I was all set to leave with the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened.
Yes, when the professor was shot.
I knew that if the police conducted a search and found a coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date.
This is ridiculous.
Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time.
Well, Miss Brett.
Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense, is it? Well, oof.
And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. Sayonara.
Supposed to be. Wait, he put this. He put a coin under a state. He put the coin under his own. No, they switched out the stakes.
Inosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming.
Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly. Something she said just jarred with me. I feel like there's a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up.
If that's the case, don't stand there thinking. Make your voice heard.
Sorry?
You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett.
What is it? What is it now?
I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a moment ago.
What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
And what new student nonsense is this?
Well, what parting words are you talking about, Inosuke? Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where's the evidence to prove it?
Take that!
The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred? What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes. Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Oh wait, that's the wrong voice.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural?
Unnatural? What on earth do you mean?
It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed exactly what, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman would even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork.
Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself.
And take a good look at this steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. So you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Oh.
Oh,
Looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, couldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
but what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help her. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course, of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything...
I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic.
Of course, dear lady.
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers?
It shouldn't be funny. Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications of these teeth marks in the state we should have for her.
Yonosuke, do you know where you're going with this?
Yes, now, at last it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks on a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. Most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that this tells us? Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe that those barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson.
Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago.
Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet.
Hasn't been... What?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it.
Objection!
I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person's willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense of this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Take that!
The answer's obvious. It's Inspector Hosanaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's No. I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with the teeth marks. Yes? Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Koreekuda-san's coin, he's told us he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, Cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put under the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Jan Shun? Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense! that plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have the opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. You did switch the plates?
Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then, when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had him. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable!
However, fear not, Prosecutor Son.
What now?
I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform, that is all I did, sir.
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
Sub-Sergeant knows to switch the plates over. It means he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate it was on, back to his own table.
Yes, that follows.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both.
Ah!
That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat, it can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you. No? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound close to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett.
Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident.
Yes, sir. Look at that blood. Sorry for keeping you. There is the other steak in its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on this side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
It can't be!
In fact, there's only one person who could have possibly shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Outdone by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No. No. No.
They're cute birds. Oh, they're cute.
Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency.
Oh, I took all the birds home. They're mine now.
It was I who took the professor's life, using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan. Yes, of course. I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he'd been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table.
That would be me, I suppose.
Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over and greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
So I was right. There were two guns.
Hi.
And when I finished my coffee and got up to leave, that's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it.
And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I had intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up,
that's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead.
naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun.
So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency,
Yes?
I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
It would seem that this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement?
This can't be. Taketsuchi Ouchi does not lose to the likes of this rookie student.
You'd better start getting used to tough opposition.
Ah, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? Yes?
This insult to the Ouchi family name will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Thousand millennia may pass, and still the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan.
This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country has opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits. But what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Azuma Asogi.
Yes.
After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
I understand, Your Excellency.
What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden?
Ah, never mind.
As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo,
Oh, yes?
in you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards.
Yes, thank you, Your Excellency.
It is now time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty.
Oh, look at the sakura petals. They don't have confetti.
It's too far in the past. This court is now adjourned. Well, and that was the entire game, though, basically. No, okay.
Can't believe it. Can't believe what's happened. Made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Yunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma.
No. It was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra-large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All of your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything.
Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out.
Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate.
Your father? Oh, yes, of course.
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Suzaru Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Speaking of Mikotoba... Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it's I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend.
Good friend?
Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right.
Mr. Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson.
Exactly. In those days, we worked together at the same hospital. Oh, we worked together?
I've never heard you mention that before.
Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asugi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. Science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot.
I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this. The spirit of the Asogi clan.
You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you?
Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul, and this blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way.
Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes.
That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder.
Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Shirley's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future, for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court in this country. I'm certain of that.
What? But why not?
It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Oh, okay, I see. Inspector Hosanaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? Then who? Who's gonna bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court?
Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty.
Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right.
Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that.
Oh. Can't they?
Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our government making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan.
I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her.
I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. We're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously.
But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, and this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves.
Yes, change is coming. We're the ones driving it.
Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink.
But Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink.
You're Detective Hosonaga-san, aren't you?
Let's not worry about the details for now. To La Carnival. Will you accompany us, Professor?
Of course. La Carnival's food is second to none.
I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
So, Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson.
Azuma.
Yes, Ryunosuke? Just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work.
Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world.
Not so sure about. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me.
What? Come on. Don't be serious. I mean, be serious.
If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean.
Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again.
I just did what you told me to do, that's all, because I knew I could trust you. That's the point.
Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point.
Listen, Ryunosuke, do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win?
Knowledge of the law?
No, the ability to believe.
To believe?
To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times.
Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it.
I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you faced some seemingly hopeless situations time again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Inosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Osanaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory.
And your study tour to Great Britain. Don't forget.
Ah, yes. That too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosanaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life.
Hosanaga is like, yes, he carried and saved the case, but he like, okay. It's like, imagine if every step of the way while a building is burning, you have to remind the fire department what to do. Like, the fire trucks pull up, and then they just sit there parked on their phones, and you're like, bro, you're gonna put out the fire? And they're like, oh, right. And then they, like, you know, attach their fire hose and water and all of that stuff, and then get ready to fight the fire. And then they fight the fire, and they're like, okay, cool, fire's done. And then they're just standing there while everyone's like, hey, did the people get out? Yeah, are there people inside? We should get the people out. Hey, fire department, go inside and get the people. And they're like, huh? Oh, all right. So, like, Hosanaga, like, yeah, he saved the case, but, like, he should have just been like, here's all the stuff I took here. Here's all my evidence at once. Like, I know for plot reasons they couldn't do that, but, like, in universe, he's kind of a dunce. Just a little. But I think I'm gonna call it for now. Like, next time I'll be doing episode 2. Oh, wait, I see that. I see that picture of Herlock Sholmes. So, we're gonna get introduced to him, maybe, next case. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. But this has been a fun game so far. Jeez. And none of the music gets claimed on YouTube, so, like, I'm able to upload these really quickly, like, really soon after they've been recorded here on Twitch. So as always, thank you all for coming and watching and hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.